So the time has come again to try to kick the cigarette habit. And in the past, I'd encourage people to do it cold turkey. I myself have tried the cold turkey method. And even though that has worked for me in the past, be it just for a few weeks, for a month, maybe even a year, quitting cold turkey can have some additional negative withdrawal symptoms for some people. Can put you in a really dark place. And for those reasons, I would encourage people, and I'm going to endure this process myself, to cut back first. So what's the easiest way to cut back? The easiest way to cut back is this thing called mindfulness. And no, I am not talking about a 20, 25, 30-minute session of sitting down somewhere quiet, listening to waterfall sounds and meditating. That's not what we're talking about. What I'm talking about is being mindful and asking questions every time you pick one of these up. All right, so we all know the normal smoker excuses. I needed a cigarette because I just finished a big meal. I need a cigarette because I just got off a long phone conversation that was stressful. I needed a cigarette because I'm on my break at work. So these are reasons that we use to validate why we're actually smoking, right? So, okay, so let's think about this. How many of those occasions hit you throughout the day? I mean, you might have 4, 5 small meals, might have one stressful conversation, a couple of work breaks, so we're at, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cigarettes maybe. But then you get to the end of the day and you're looking at your pack and you're like, it's empty. And instead of questioning why it's empty and questioning all the cigarettes that you smoked throughout the day, instead you're just ready to haul off to the store and get another pack of cigarettes. This is all part of the mindless behavior behind an addiction such as smoking cigarettes. All right, so you smoked those cigarettes that you thought were necessary, but what about all the other cigarettes? The probably more than double, and so for some people probably even triple, what they would need as a valid excuse to smoke. All the rest of those cigarettes were just mindless smoking. They were just habitual. You were just doing it to do it. So how are we going to practice bringing mindfulness back into this? Every time you go to light one of these, and actually before you even open the pack up and put one in your hands, when you feel yourself getting ready to stand up to go get one, or reaching into your pocket to grab one, before you even go that far, just question the impulse. Do I really need this cigarette? Or maybe, why do I want to smoke this cigarette? That's actually probably a better question. Why am I smoking this cigarette? Because that kind of puts you in a place where, well, you have a definitive answer. I just ate a meal. I am stressed out at this moment because of a phone conversation. Whatever the excuse is. But if you ask that question, say, why am I going to smoke this cigarette? And it kind of flusters you, and you don't really have an answer, you probably don't need that particular cigarette. So put it off till later until the actual real needy urge arrives. Because guys, mindless smoking is the biggest part of your smoking habit. The times you are just picking up a cigarette just to smoke it, not even thinking about it, not even questioning why you're doing it, you're just doing it. So what we're trying to do is bring our minds back into the process and start thinking about the decisions that we're making. It's so easy to not pay attention to smoking and just doing it. No more. No more. Every single time you think you want a cigarette, ask yourself why. Turn it into a full-on interrogation if you want to. Try to validate whatever excuse that you're using. Fight with your thoughts a little bit. Try to say, hey, why am I doing this? And you can even break this down into every single hit you take on a cigarette. Because you light up a cigarette, and then next thing you know, you're just smoking all the way through it, not even paying attention, not even enjoying, if there is any enjoyment to be had. Because again, it's mindless. You just do it. And what you're gonna find over time as you continue to ask yourself repeatedly, why do I want this cigarette? Your reasons are gonna feel less and less valid. But in this process, you're going to be delaying the interval in between cigarettes, therefore maybe smoking less cigarettes throughout the day. And this is what's going to help you cut back. And again, as you continue to ask yourself over and over again, every time you go to light a cigarette, you might even eventually start talking yourself out of smoking those cigarettes versus smoking them. So the main idea behind all of this, guys, is pay attention to your habit. Pay attention to your addiction. Acknowledge it every time it comes into play. No more mindless smoking. I will be working with this technique alongside every one of you that choose to partake in this adventure. Maybe journey is a better word. And let's check back up maybe in about a week, and let's look over the last week and see if we made any improvements. And if we didn't, we're just gonna keep at it through the next week, until we have cut down on cigarette smoking. And maybe in the future, or maybe before we even get so far, perhaps some of you are gonna step up and say, I already quit. And that's exactly what I hope will happen. I hope that this will just cause me to flat out quit too. But one step at a time, let's cut back, and then we'll see where we're at soon. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.